Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and it is time for your season 6, episode 3 Walking Dead review. And this episode, it goes without saying, was probably the best trifecta of episodes I've seen. I mean, these these episodes, wow. I mean, there's been more action in these past couple episodes that I've seen like since the first season of Walking Dead. I mean, this is just it's an amazing season so far. If they keep up this fucking breakneck speed, I'm gonna tell you, Walking Dead's gonna attract a lot more viewers than it already has, and that's maybe what they're going for here. Now, the biggest controversy surrounding this episode, there was a lot of walkers, there was a lot of craziness, and Glenn died. Yeah, and this sent the internet into an uproar. People were fucking upset and shit. But then I've noticed like a day later, and I'm with this group of people. People have realized that, well, Glenn's not dead because we took a closer look. Uh, but I just have to say, before I even get into that psychology of the show, well, this has to do with the psychology of the show. So I'm not really getting away from psychology when I'm discussing this. Uh, this show faked us out. I was sitting there with my mouth open. Literally, I'm not just saying that for effect in this video to really put it over. But yeah, this it was a great moment in the show's history. Nicholas, who was responsible for Noah's death last season. We all saw it, a brutal death that befell Noah as he got ripped apart by the walkers, and probably one of the most brutal graphic scenes in the whole history of the show. Nicholas, is kind of his trustworthiness has wavered at times, even though we know he's a bit more pro Glenn than he was in the past. They're surrounded by walkers and they're standing on top of something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they're elevated above all the other walkers. Um, and then all of a sudden you see that like some kind of like something happens with Nicholas. He's not seeing straight. He's hallucinating a bit. And then he says thank you, shoots himself, and then falls on top of Glenn. And then you see the both falling to the floor, and Glenn is screaming out, and it looks like he's getting his intestines ripped out. It looks like everything is being ripped out of fucking Glenn. And then, really, as I looked at the internet and I discussed this with a couple of friends, I fucking realized that he's not dead. They showed Nicholas falling on top of Glenn for a reason. And that's because that couldn't have possibly been Glenn, because Nicholas fell right on top of him. So Nicholas would probably be the one getting torn to shreds, right? But it was a clever camera angle that and a bit of a fake out. Something there used to be something back in the day called trick photography, and it was a term that was used to apply to archaic special effects. Before they had all the CGI now and practical effects. It was called trick photography, which is kind of like a form of practical effects. But it was something where if they had to have two of the same person or the same actor playing a different role on the same screen, it was tricks that could be used in video photography, videography, I guess you could call it. That would be implemented in order to get a specific thing to appear on the screen as the specified image. I guess, if that makes sense to everybody, if I explain that properly. But it was basically, that's all you need to know. It was the early special effects. And that was what was implied here. To make you believe that Glenn is dead, and he is not. And I hope I'm right about this, but I'm pretty sure. So basically, it was Nicholas who was getting his guts ripped out and not Glenn. And I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, this definitely would have gone down as one of the biggest surprise deaths of all time, but I really have to give them credit for faking everybody out like that. I mean, the initial just surprise of that happening, I just didn't expect it to happen. And it really speaks volumes about this show and the surprises and the eventfulness of it. You know, there always is, even during the slow moments of this show, there's always been something that holds you there, keeps you coming back for more. Now it's just more than ever. And I really just have to say I was just thoroughly impressed by the way how this episode was handled. They made us believe that a beloved character was was dying, and it was really something to behold. I mean, the shock, the fucking terror that ran through me when I saw, the image of it appearing to be Glenn who's, getting killed, but in fact it was not. Um, and also the panic. I don't want this to just be, a video all about, even though that overshadowed everything else with Glenn. You saw Rick in a panic. He couldn't start the RV. This is the first time I've seen Rick in a long time panicking. I hadn't seen this for a long time from fucking Rick. Not since season 3 have we seen Rick in the fucking panic. And this was, a scene that was very reminiscent of like season 3 and Rick talking to nobody on the phone. This was definitely something to behold with this show. And yeah, it was. That was also another great element to this episode as well. But yeah, motherfuckers, Glenn is not dead. Pretty sure about that. So yeah, we gotta definitely see what happens in the next episode. I'm sure there's a lot of people who still believe that Glenn is dead, but he's not dead. Pretty sure about that. Anyway, great episode, fantastic season so far. And I guess I'll see you guys for episode 4.